Okay, today we will create a fire effect using the fusion particle system in DaVinci Resolve 17. As usual, we create a fusion composition and open it in the fusion page. From the Node Editor toolbar, drag a text node to the editor. Connect it to the Media Out node. In the text inspector, enter fire as the text, change the size and tracking as you like. In the toolbar, click and drag particle emitter and particle render nodes to the editor. With the emitter node selected, press Shift Space to open the tool selection window, search for p-directional force and add it to the editor. Disconnect the text from Media Out and connect the particle render output to the Media Out. Select the emitter node, go to the inspector and select the Region tab. Change the region type to bitmap, so that the particles will be generated based on an image input. Inside the node editor, connect the text output to the emitter's yellow bitmap input. As we move the playhead, we can see some dots in the viewer now. Select the emitter node, go to the inspector. Inside the Controls tab, change the number to 200, which is the amount of new particles generated on each frame, depending on the region image input. You may want to adjust this value to get a result to your liking. Change the lifespan to 30 frames, which determines how long a particle will exist before it disappears. You can play with this number and see how it's affecting the result. Open the Style tab, change the style to blob. In the Color Controls section, expand Color over Life Controls. For the fire effect, we change the starting color to yellow. Click on the color bar to add another color point, and change it to red. Move it to the very end. This will set particle color to yellow at the beginning, and transition to red at the end of its lifespan. Inside the size controls, change the size to 3. We see that in the viewer the particles are falling down. Select the directional force node in the inspector, change the direction from -90 to 90 degrees. Reduce the strength to have a desirable flame height, in this case, we set it to around 0.03. Go back to the emitter node style tab. Change the size over life, so that the particles shrink as they reach the end of their lifespan. In the fade controls, decrease the fade out value to 0.5, so the particles will start fading out as they reach 50% of their life. Now play the clip. The result is pretty good, but it doesn't have a natural feeling. Select the directional force node, Control or Shift Space to open the tool selection, insert a particle turbulence node before the render node. Go to its inspector, set the Y and Z strength to 0, leave the X strength to the default 0.1. Play the clip, and I think the result is very good. The only thing is that at the beginning, it has a warming up time, which we don't need. Select the render node. It has a parameter called Pregenerate Frames in the inspector. This will force the particle system to pre-generate a certain number of frames before the first valid frame. For this demo, we set this parameter to 80. Play the clip, and wait until the cache is rendered. Now we have the fire burning right from the beginning. In the Renders inspector, we can also adjust the blur and glow parameters to give some glowing touch to the effect. Next we will save this effect as a macro template, so that we can use it in the Edit page. Select all nodes except the Text Input and Media Out node. Right-click one of the selected nodes, choose Macro, and create macro. In the macro editor, name the macro Essential Fire Effect, check the parameters we want to expose. Number and lifespan of the emitter node. Strength and direction of the directional force. X, Y and Z strength of the turbulence node. With these parameters exported, we can do some basic adjustments in the Edit page. Save the template to Fusion, Template, Edit, Effects folder. Close the macro editor page, and go back to the Edit page. In the timeline, I have prepared a text and an animated logo. Drag the Essential Fire effect to the text, and inside the Effects tab of the inspector, we can adjust the parameters. Or click the Fusion icon to open the effect in the Fusion page for more detailed tuning. Go back to the timeline, create a copy of the logo, convert it to a Fusion clip. Add the fire effect to the clip. In the inspector, we can adjust the parameters to get a fire effect to our liking without going to the Fusion page. Alright, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.